Ladies and gentlemen, within the past 3 weeks, there have been 2 criminal acts leveled against conservatives, Lauren Boebert and Brett Kavanaugh, by morally superior, quote-unquote, morally superior liberal Democrats. One self-professed liberal, then one man who flew or drove from California. I don't exactly know how he got to around Kavanaugh's house, but one man on Twitter committed crimes, making the most despicable statements against Lauren Boebert. Another man just today got to the house of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh armed. Both individuals who were arrested, both Democratic Party partisans, arrested, and promised to do the unthinkable and end the lives of both of these conservatives. Number one, Chuck Schumer made statements that were not only provocative, I explained them in my segment prior to this one. They were almost very detailed, horrible words, and just the rhetoric was what did he say? That Kavanaugh, this is Schumer, would pay the price. Okay, Trump has never said anything like that. Yet everything was his fault on that fateful day that I condemn. Schumer said, well, pay the price. And he went on this long... Here, if you go to my segment prior to this one, you can actually read the quote. So just go to H.A. Goodman, and you can actually read the quote. It's in my last segment prior to this one. Schumer stated, "You won't know what hit you." And he said that Kavanaugh would pay the price. You won't know what hit you. That's what Chuck Schumer stated. And then you have an armed man from California showing up near his home, apprehended and arrested by police. Then you have on Twitter a self-professed liberal who went after Lauren Boebert and made the most, basically committed crimes on Twitter with really despicable and disgusting statements about what he wanted to do and how he wanted to end her life. The man today wanted to end Kavanaugh's life. And I'm speaking in roundabout terms, ladies and gentlemen, in my long-winded manner to address YouTube guidelines because I want to be YouTube friendly. And so where's the outrage? You can go to any major Hollywood celebrity. The morally superior liberal Hollywood Democrats, they're not pontificating or preaching or condemning, or they're not outraged that Lauren Boebert and Brett Kavanaugh have 2 individuals from their political side arrested, one armed outside of the home of a Supreme Court justice. You're not going to get the indignation, the outrage. It's swept under the rug, and it's, Chuck Schumer's words are not treated in the same manner as Trump's rhetoric, Trump's behavior. Notice how with Donald Trump or anyone who is an ally or Trump Republican, or even anyone who disagrees with the Democratic Party, could be Tulsi Gabbard, there's always some kind of plot that Democrats have to conjure up. Well, this is a talking point from the Kremlin. Oh, you are speaking in a subliminal tone. This is a prejudicial or bigoted viewpoint. But, it isn't when you hear it, but really there's an undertone, an undercurrent. There's a subliminal. They create this fantasy world where if they don't have, Trump never said both sides are good. He never said there are good people on both sides, meaning the 1930s and 1940s Germans being good people. He never said that, nor did he mean that. That was context deliberately manipulated and twisted in the most insidious and despicable manner by journalists who wanted to distort his words, who don't do the same thing when Mashed Potato Brains Joe tells Charlemagne the God, you are not who you are if you don't vote for me. So you have Mashed Potato Brains Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer stating the most despicable things, and then you have two liberal Democrats or Democratic partisans committing crimes against high-profile conservatives, a Supreme Court justice and a Colorado representative. And where's the legislation to prevent this? Well, they broke laws, so that's what criminals do, by the way. These are criminals who broke laws. Now, in addition to all of this, you have House Democrats that block a bill, a bipartisan bill that passed the Senate. McConnell slams House Democrats for blocking Supreme Court security bill. But they definitely want to curb the Second Amendment, because if you make it difficult for the absolute lunatics who have not only lost their mind, but who are intent on causing as much damage to the most innocent people we have, and the people who should be protected, the most innocent angels who should be protected. Those laws, so Democrats, they pontificate and preach, and everything is this theatrical performance, and they harness emotion, and they say, look at that tragedy, if only we had laws to protect. There are already laws that criminals break all the time in major Democratic-run cities. They will obtain anything they want. You can ban anything Prohibition didn't work. The war on narcotics didn't work. You can go ahead and ban anything, and the criminals, people who are truly evil, will be there's a morbid, sinister, insidious creativity to evil. I'm not going to get into that, but you're not going to stop madmen. You're not going to stop people intent on committing the most heinous, gruesome atrocities by added legislation that they already ignore. The only thing you can do is embrace the Second Amendment and ensure that you take your own protection and that you protect your life and your family's life. This Constitution we have gives us that ability to do so. And then when you have this nonsense, well, I was this and I was that, and I want to let you know, if you're a hunter, that's different. But, these are inanimate objects that the average American shouldn't have. It's like, well, you go into any government building, and there's armed security everywhere. Any courthouse, there's armed security everywhere. And these same Democrats would say, well, no, we're going to spend money on armed security, but you can't use the same deterrence. Because you know what? Law-abiding citizens will abide by our laws. Criminals will not, but at least we're doing something. And every tragedy, they've convinced themselves that they just need more legislation. At the end of the day, you have to find out why these people snap. Why? Why does a human being become, how and why does a human being become a monster? And Democrats don't want to ask that question, because then that pertains to free will, and that free will is a concept that Democrats really dislike. They don't like that at all. They don't like that at all. Government for Democrats is there to protect you and to save you and to help you. That's why they ended economic activity. Now we have inflation through the roof. Janet Yellen said, oh yeah, we have inflation. Gas prices have doubled. It's not his fault. Not his fault. Inflation's not his fault. GDP, we're going into a recession. Atlanta Fed, so revised second quarter. But you have two conservatives, two criminal acts against these conservatives, armed people who are armed, and no amount of legislation, and Democrats blocked added security for a Supreme Court as they make it difficult for law-abiding citizens. Okay, a law-abiding citizen's Second Amendment has nothing to do with keeping anyone safe. Actually, I'm sorry, it has everything to do, but it has nothing to do, like curbing legislation. I'm trying to speak in YouTube-friendly terms. Curbing the Second Amendment, erasing it from existence, only helps the criminals. The second that a madman or that a person who tries to harm you and your family or the most innocent among us, the second that they try to do damage, the same reciprocal force should take place to stop them. And that mentality is lost among Democrats, except when it's to protect their lives. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I noticed that nobody's talking about two conservatives who've had crimes leveled against their lives. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel right now. Thank you.